I'm Joe.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Alex.
And this is Tales from Godric's Hollow. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 327 of Tales from Godric's Hollow, your one-stop shop for all things magical in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. I am Joe, the Dean of Tales from Godric's Hollow, and we are live here with you today. And I am not alone. I do have my co-hosts with me. First up, here she is, Lauren.
Howdy, y'all.
What's going on, Lauren?
Oh, all the holiday things.
All the holiday things.
Busy.
Yep, but at least we're kind of through. Kind of.
Almost.
All right. Also with us tonight, we have the one and only Atari Alex.
Hello.
What's up, Alex? Welcome back from your vacation.
Thank you. It's been full of screaming children, so the best kind of vacation, obviously.
Well, screaming children for all of us. Well, for me anyway. Maybe not Lauren. I was surrounded by my nieces and nephews like all Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. And there was a lot of chaos going on. Lots of chaos. So I know you can... they like... I'm going to put them on blast right now here live on the show. They like destroyed this whole downstairs area where I do my show.
Oh.
They made the biggest mess ever. And they were like pulling cable wires from the ceiling. Like it was bad. I came down here at the end of the night. I was like, what happened? What did they do? I almost felt like Buzz wanting to scream at them like, Kevin, what did you do to my room? That's kind of how it was. Alas.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, we got through. So how was your guys' little Christmas Day, Christmas Eve? How'd all the Christmas things go for you guys?
It's busy, but good. We had a lot of kids too. I have a lot of cousins that have small children. On Christmas Eve, we all went to my grandparents' house and had that Christmas time, and we threw them a little impromptu nativity skit for my grandparents and everything, with kids as young as 2 and as old as, well, my husband got suckered into it, and so did my cousin's husband and my brother. So yeah, lots of fun, but it was good, and I'm glad it's over though. It was 3 days of just nonstop family and fun, but it was nice to get home and not have that.
Yes, I think one of my favorite days was the day after Christmas when I did not have any family over and I wasn't obligated to go anywhere and I had the day off and I just spent it in my bed, recovering, resting, catching up on some movies I haven't been able to watch yet, rewatching Avatar because I'm hoping to go see that this upcoming weekend. Totally forgot what happened in that first movie. Well, the normal gist, but I didn't remember details or people's names or anything like that. So I definitely needed the refresher there. Alex, how about your Christmas? How was the kids on Christmas morning? Was it complete chaos or was there a little bit of joy thrown in there as well?
Little column A, little column B. Yeah, so on Christmas Eve, we hung out at my parents' for the day. And then we went to mass with my wife's family on Christmas Eve. And then we did dinner at her mom's house. Came back here, we tried to do like all the Santa cookies and stories and everything, but they fell asleep in the car. And when that happens, it's pretty hard to get them to do anything else. So that didn't go over the best, but it's okay. Um, so then we got up and then we let them open presents. And then we went back to church with my family for Christmas Day. Went over there, opened up more presents, had lunch, a very late lunch. Then we went back to my mother-in-law's house where we opened up more presents and ate more food. Um, so a lot of driving around. The kids got so many, so many things. Um, yeah, and you know, between you and me, they definitely should have been on the naughty list this year. So I think Santa got
Oh no,
his wires a little bit crossed, but
he
it's
didn't check
okay,
the list twice, then, huh?
I guess.
We got some people coming in here into the chat. Hi, Kristen. Thank you so much for joining us. We got the boss in the house. What up, boss? She says the day before Christmas Eve, she calls Christmas Adam, which I haven't heard before. I thought that was great.
I have not either.
Yeah,
All right, so here's my question for you guys. Did you get any Potter presents this year?
I did not.
No, I didn't. Which I usually
Wow.
do.
Someone's slacking over there then, huh?
I know. I did get a birthday present that came in late. So it came in closer to Christmas than my birthday because it was a handmade item. That's a Hufflepuff dice case. So, but it wasn't technically a Christmas present. It was birthday. So,
That's
Like
a-
D&D dice?
yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
All right, so this is like the first year I got like a few Potter presents that I don't normally get presents, so it was weird like opening stuff. And the fact that like people associate me with Harry Potter now, I'm finding hilarious. So my boss here, she got me this new Tumblr. It says, "All I want for Christmas is my letter from Hogwarts." Solid gift there. And then one of the gifts from my sister, I got the official baking book of Harry Potter.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was interested. Apparently, it's a #1 New York Times bestseller. I didn't even hear
Wow.
of this book, so
Same.
I'm interested to look inside and see what they got going on in here. Like, I want the official rock cake recipe. I want the official butterbeer recipe. I want to see what they got. I got this Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone puzzle.
Nice.
Oh.
I found it odd that it actually says Philosopher's Stone rather than Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
Well, that is the correct name. So
It is, but they don't normally do that for merch in the US.
No.
maybe 20 years later, they're finally rectifying their mistakes.
Perhaps. Perhaps. And then I got a bunch of Harry Potter socks. It was like a 12 sock Advent Harry Potter sock. I'm wearing my Dobby socks right now. And then I got ones that have spells on them.
Ooh, that's cool.
I got Seeker socks,
Ooh.
regular Hogwarts logo socks. I got platform 9 3/4 socks. These ones say, I don't go looking for trouble. Trouble usually finds me. This one, I got the sorting hat. It says sorted.
Nice.
We have the Potter glasses with lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Classic.
Hedwig with letter.
So cute.
The Dark Mark. Oh, you can't see that
Ooh.
because it's green and it's like the green screen is taken over. It's not, they just have a big hole in them, I guess. And Voldy socks, you know who? And then the last pair here, mischief managed. So pretty sweet haul there as far as the socks are concerned. We always love socks at Christmas time. My one complaint with the socks though is that most of them are in like black and white, and I do like colorful
Yeah.
socks. So,
Hmm.
but I ain't gonna complain too much about it. And then I also got a mini fig of Potter ornament, which I didn't even know they
Oh.
did. And I ended up it's a mystery. It was a mystery fig too, a mystery mini fig,
Oh.
and I got a little Voldy
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
to hang up on my tree.
You have Voldy on your tree.
So yeah, I can put Voldy up on my little Charlie Brown Christmas tree that I got going on, and that's all. But yeah, a pretty solid Potter haul for me,
Yeah,
especially
no
considering I don't
kidding.
normally get Potter stuff, so very excited about it. But it seems as though everyone had a good Christmas. That is great. We do have New Year's coming up. We are in that week in between. So things have kind of died down, but they're probably going to pick right back up in a few. Do you guys have a low key New Year's, or do you generally go out? I know Alex probably with the kids. He like, we're going to sleep.
We were invited to a New Year's Eve party. My daughter's godparents parents are throwing. So I think we're gonna do that, but I don't know if we're gonna stay till midnight or not.
Gotcha.
We were also invited to a New Year's Eve party at a friend's house. They just moved in to a new house and they're wanting to kind of show it off and have some people over. So they invited us to come over. So
Break in
we're
the new
gonna
place.
break in their new house and do that. I do enjoy going out. The last time I went out for New Year's Eve though was 2020. And so I have a little bit of PTSD from going out and then the world shutting down. So maybe staying at home is a better choice.
So that was you this whole time.
Hey, we went to it was a really cool party that we went to. We went to a Roaring 20s party because it was of course ringing in the 20s and
Ah,
so everyone dressed in 1920s gear and we all dressed up, stayed until midnight, had a great time, but
that's pretty neat. Yeah.
it was really fun. But haven't been out since then for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
Mhm.
Well, there you go. There's all the updates that we got for you. We are here. This is episode 327, as I said, and this is an episode really for you guys, for you to voice your opinion. This is kind of like a you pick the topic type of episode, calling it a little holiday potpourri because, potpourri's just got like a little bit of everything going on in it. So that's what we dubbed this little episode here. So if you're joining us, feel free to comment in the comment section wherever you're listening, whether it be on YouTube or on Facebook. And if you have a topic that you've wanted us to chat about, you can get those in and we'll get to it at the appropriate time. But you can just start throwing them in the comment section and we'll scroll back up and hit those at the appropriate time. Or if you've never heard it, our take on anything specific in the wizarding world that you would love our take on. I mean, I don't know who would love our take on anything, to be honest with you, but if you so choose to want to hear that take, feel free to throw that out into the comment section and we'll make sure we get to it when we start our main topic of discussion. But before we get into anything, we do have our normal segments. We have the brew review, we have Spellio Revelio, we have your emails. But before we do anything else, I want to remind you all about our December giveaway. There is one more week left to get in our giveaway. All you have to do is support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow at any tier, and you're automatically entered in to win. So we thank you in advance for your support, and our giveaways are like a thank you to everyone who is supporting us. So definitely jump on board with that. Again, as little as $1 a month, and you're automatically entered in to win. And this month we are giving away Tom Felton's new biography, Beyond the Wand, which we've heard great things about. And again, we'll announce the winner next week. It'll be the first episode of the new year. A little sidebar, if you are joining us on Patreon for the first time, you can purchase your entire year on Patreon and kind of save on whatever tier that you're getting. So, we have stuff for $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, but you could buy the whole year out and get like a little bit of a discount. I think it's like a 10 to 15% discount if you purchase the entire year all at once. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys to save a little bit of money. I know everyone just that went broke with Christmas time. But if you are fiscally responsible and do have a little bit of extra and you just want to pay for the whole year, that makes it very simple for all parties, I believe. So jump on board there. Before our main topic and before we get into all these other topics that you guys are going to throw in, we do have a little bit of news that you can use to get to. So we're going to do that right now. And first up on our news that you can use, I'm not sure if you guys have listened to our last episode, episode 326. We had the boss back on the show for the first time since giving birth to her sweet little lovely boy, Leon Jr. And on that episode, in way of family business here, Marissa shared that she will not be returning to Tales from Godric's Hollow at this time. So I don't know if you've gotten the boss update yet on that, but Marissa will not be returning, unfortunately. However, there is another announcement that I need to make, and that is officially, for now, Lauren and Alex are here to stay. I've begged and I've pleaded, and they have both agreed.
Yes, very bittersweet. Marissa, definitely a better host than me, but I am happy that I can fill her shoes in a little bit. Well, I mean, I think she probably has small feet because she's a very short person, but metaphorically
This is true.
fill those shoes. And yeah, I'm having a blast. I used to do a podcast a long time ago, and I really enjoyed it, and I forgot how much I missed doing it. So I'm really happy to be able to stick around.
Yeah, I'm very excited too. Yes, big shoes to fill, Marissa. We will miss you. But very excited to continue and be part of the team, and I've loved every minute of it. So excited to keep doing it.
You guys are making me feel good. Loved every minute of being with me. I don't even know if Marissa could say that. Wow. But you know what Marissa would say?
I don't know anything.
She will live on in infamy, infamy here on Tales from Godric's Hollow, because we will always have her voice.
Marissa's
Dang.
probably singing at home right now, thinking that was a good decision to not come back.
I don't know anything.
That is her legacy here on Tales from Godric's Hollow. Although she'll always have coming back on for a trivia host showdown, or rather trivia host beatdown, and just destroy me in trivia, because that's all she knows how to do, and I just can't help myself but lose. Nevertheless, boss, we wish you well. Thank you for joining us. She's actually in the chat with us. You can chat with the boss right now if you jump on with us. And obviously, I'm talking to those of you who are here with us, so you would know that. And those of you who aren't here wouldn't know that because you're not on the chat. But these are the things that you missed by not being on these live events. So jump on board. Next up here. Oh, yes. Quick update on the Tales from Godric's Hollow Fantasy Football League. Ladies and gents, I did it. I beat Hunter. I didn't think I would, but I did. And I have
Sorry,
made it
Hunter.
to the championship round. And I am going head to head with Jesse, who defeated Corey, who won it last year. So it's me against Jesse for the championship. And Jesse was the only person that I've lost to this year.
Wow.
All right, Jesse, let's go.
I played her week 1 and lost. I ended up replaying her again towards the end of the year, and I got a little payback then. I beat her. But we're 1-1. This is the tiebreaker, and it's for all the galleons. And holy smokes, I'm excited. I'm nervous. Right now, I'm projected to win by a good portion, but you never go by projections really, because as we found out last week in fantasy football, those who are projected to do well will not always do well. And those who nobody who knows their name may end up scoring 20 to 30 points. And if you know fantasy football, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Alas, we'll have that announcement at the beginning of the year next week on our first episode of the year. We will be able to crown a champion officially. And fingers crossed, another win for the good guys.
Jesse, I hope you can bookend Joe's season with L's.
I agree, Jesse. We're all rooting for you.
And you're absolutely right. I'm sure the entire community is like, please. I don't want to hear Joe gloat anymore about stinking sports ball, fantasy, whatever. Get her done. But Jesse's been a tough competitor throughout the year, so I'm not taking her lightly, that's for sure. Next piece of news here, Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore has been shortlisted in the VFX category for the 2023 Oscar nominations. Which is pretty neat. I know the Potter universe in general isn't necessarily heavily Oscar nominated. I know Fantastic Beasts won for wardrobe, that very first movie that came out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the Potter series had any wins per se. I don't think they did. I think they were nominated for a few things, but it was nothing really on screen with the story, not best actor, director. It might have been music. I can understand if music was nominated. Not 100% sure if that was it though. But yeah, the fact that Secrets of Dumbledore is on here for the VFX, and I mean, and the visual effects were really, really good. So it doesn't surprise me that it's on there. But the fact that, you know, another Wizarding World movie got Oscar nominated, I think that's a positive thing, and hopefully that leads into some news in the new year regarding number 4. We will see though.
It would be nice.
I really doubt that Warner Brothers cares about nominations more than money, but I guess anything's possible.
Well, it still did finish like top 10 in how much it's made worldwide.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I want to say like top 8 too. Kind of shooting from the hip a little bit there too. I think it was like number 7, number 8 on the list of top grossing movies of the year worldwide. So yeah, everyone's sitting on pins and needles waiting for news as to what they're going to do with that. But it's the waiting game, sadly. Next piece of news here, Hogwarts Legacy developers have shown off the Dark Arts Battle Arena in the latest gameplay reveal, which sounds really cool, the Dark Arts Battle Arena. But it's an area that's included in the deluxe version of the game that allows you free reign to use the unforgivable curses. This was kind of like the big thing that was coming out about Hogwarts Legacy over the past few weeks that the fandom was talking about. Basically, with the unforgivable curses anyway, like you can also use them in the gameplay as a student if you so choose. So I kind of wanted to just pose this question out. I know, Alex, you're looking all confused, like you don't like it. So
I don't like it at all.
why not?
I just think it's weird that they have children going around committing murder. Something about that doesn't sit right with me. Like I guess this Dark Arts Arena is going to be maybe some kind of like a PvP mode, it sounds like. So I'm fine with that, but
Right, or like like a training ground, maybe.
yeah, maybe. I mean, we just have to see whatever it is. Like, if it's like some kind of extra mode, something that's not like canon per se, that's fine, whatever, I guess. But to have it in the story where you can go around torturing and killing people, that's weird. As a child, to give you that option is just, I don't know.
I see your point, but I know in other games, like for example, the Grand Theft Auto or the other types of, like you can go around and do whatever you want to anybody basically.
Literally. Yeah.
Now granted, a lot of those, like it doesn't affect the story at all. Like they're
Yeah.
just whatever random characters that are just walking around. I would have to think that if you're a student using an unforgivable curse, it should affect the story in some way if a student just ends up dead in Hogwarts. Um, but I kind of don't know like how that gameplay is going to work out as far as you just being able to just go around and shoot Avada Kedavra everywhere.
So I keep thinking about Red Dead Redemption 2, which I played, in that you can play as two different types of main character based on the decisions and the choices you make. You can go kind of the good path, or you can go the evil path. And depending on which path, it does affect your story ever so slightly. But the end culmination of the story is the same. But for example, in Red Dead Redemption 2, it's very easy to accidentally shoot someone. Like the controls are just very it's very easy to be like, "Oh, I want to talk to this person. Oops, I just shot them dead and now I'm wanted and I've got to get out of here." And so I could see there being something, and then you have to go like pay a bounty to get your name cleared and that kind of a thing. So I could see there being something of that kind of mechanics of like, if you choose to go down this path and use unforgivable curses, you're going to have consequences that you wouldn't have if you don't do that.
Azkaban.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if you get thrown into Azkaban, like your game is over.
Maybe.
Or you have to bust
Or
out.
you use them where someone can see them, because a lot of it too, at least in Red Dead, was if no one witnessed what happened, then you just kind of got away with it if you did it in secret. But if someone witnessed it and was able to report it, then you had a bounty.
Like Sir Cadogan would in the
Kinda.
castle.
Right? So I don't know. I'm so excited for this game. I might actually purchase a PC so I can play it in February without having to share it with my husband. So that
That's next level. Although I know that PC orders have been like even worse than PS5, Xbox One X, whatever they're called. So you might want to get on that if you want to do that.
Yeah, we thought about getting a new TV and a new PS5. And I was like, if we're going to buy another TV and another PS5, I might as well just go ahead and buy a PC. And then, because there's another game coming out later in the year that is only coming out on PC that both of us want to play. So this might just move up that timeline.
This might be a stupid question, but coming from somebody who doesn't play video games really ever, can't you just create your own player and play it on the same one that he's playing on?
Not at the same time.
Right.
So our living room has 3 TVs so that we can have multiple things going on at the same time. So we're weird. We live that dual income, no kid life where we just,
you could tech out if you so choose.
Yes. And so we have a PS5 and we have an Xbox One and we have a Switch. We have a PS4. And so we can play up to 3 or 4 games at a time if we wanted to. Or sometimes we'll put a football game on one screen and both of us will play on another screen. Yeah. So
Okay. It was just because the fact that you said like purchase another TV and then another console.
Right.
I was wondering, like, I'm thinking, I'm like, is the game only allowing you to play one player ever and not letting anything else happen on the game if that one player is active? I'm like, because technologically speaking, you can do multiple players on a Super Nintendo. Like, why wouldn't you be able to on a PS5?
Yes. Yeah. No, he wants to play the game too, and he has other games that are coming out that he's been looking forward to that are going to come out around the same time.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And he's listening to me talk right now and it's giving me a death glare.
Oh, so cute.
He says he loves me. It's all good.
We all heard it. We got it here live.
Sweet.
Anywho, moving on here. Final piece of news that you can use. There is Matilda the musical that had just dropped on Netflix Christmas Day, and Harry Potter alum Emma Thompson plays Miss Trunchbull in it. And apparently she's under like heavy prosthetics, so you can barely tell it's her. And I saw a picture and it looks like ridiculous how much prosthetics they end up putting on her. But if you're a fan of musicals, if you're a fan of Matilda, or if you're just a fan of Emma Thompson, because she's basically wonderful in everything she does, you can go check that out on Netflix. And this is now 2 Harry Potter alum that have also played Miss Trunchbull in different Matilda things. Because we had Aunt Marge, who played Miss Trunchbull in the OG Matilda. Well, I don't know if it was the OG Matilda, but the one from my youth anyway.
Yes.
I did not realize that.
Oh, get out. You did not know that?
I haven't seen that movie in a very, very long time.
Yeah. I remember when they showed the first pictures of Aunt Marge and I automatically knew that it was Miss Trunchbull. I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect casting. It works so well.
Yeah, she was terrible as Aunt Marge and she was terrible as Miss Trunchbull.
Yep.
Perfect fit. Well, anyway, we're about to get right into our main topic of discussion here. We'll give you a few more seconds to start throwing in your topics in the chat and we'll get to them in a little bit. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this word. Are you following us on social media? If not, you're missing out. You can find us on Twitter at Tales from GH and on Instagram and Facebook at Tales from Godric's Hollow. Now, back to the show. So we wanted to do this as a little fun episode here to wrap up the year. We didn't really want to jump into another major moment or another Canon Confundus or finish up the last fanfire part 2 of Conspiracy of Worm on our final episode of the year. So we were figuring out what we wanted to do, and we wanted to have a little bit of fun, and we figured this might be fun to just have a bunch of random different topics to discuss and not only get our opinion about it, but if you're live in the chat, you guys can share your opinion as well. So again, this is your time. This is your opportunity. You pick the topic. So if there was ever a time where you wanted to hear us talk about anything specific regarding the Wizarding World, now is the time to send in those comments or emails and get those into us, and we will start making our comments about them. Now, we also came up with different topics that we wanted to chat about too. And again, this is all open, so feel free to comment away in the comment section, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, and we will again get to all those when we need to. But I think I'll start here. So here's a little addition to this little potpourri that we're having here. And this is in regards to the Prisoner of Azkaban movie. Specifically, when the Weasley twins give the Marauders map to Harry Potter. If you look closely on the map, there is a name, a familiar name that we all know that is on this map in the movie. And that name is Newt Scamander. Now, there has been a ton of theories out there as for why Newt Scamander would be at Hogwarts year 3, Prisoner of Azkaban, and just visiting Hogwarts. And I came across too that I didn't necessarily hear before, but I wanted your guys' take on it, and then also I wanted to know what you believe about why Newt Scamander would be at Hogwarts during Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, again, I know this is a movieism. I know this isn't necessarily canon, but just go with me now. In the theater of your mind. So the two theories that I came across that I liked was that Dumbledore invited him to see the basilisk corpse in the Chamber of Secrets. Possible, right? Viable thing. It's not like a basilisk is readily available anywhere at any particular time. So I think that would be something cool that Newt would want to check out. I guess you would have to wonder if Dumbledore ever ended up taking a trip down to the Chamber of Secrets. Like that would be a whole other, I guess, piece of this headcanon that you'd have to figure out, because we don't really ever know if he went down to the Chamber of Secrets. We know that he knows it exists. We know that he must know where it is now because he got the full rundown from Harry. You would think that he would want to check that out, especially since it's like a founder's room, something that Slytherin created solely for himself. He'd probably want to check it out to see if there are any other beasts hiding somewhere in that chamber that might come out and scare off or potentially kill the children. You have to think he's gone down there at some point. So
yeah, I think he would have, just to look for any Horcrux clues, like see if Voldemort left any notes or some kind of idea of where he was going to hide the other Horcruxes. So yeah, I think I'm willing to believe that he went down there at some point.
Yeah, I think he would have. Also, to maybe just investigate and make sure there weren't any other basilisks down there, like maybe babies that could have been born at some point in the last 1,000 years if someone had gone down there and hatched more eggs.
Yeah, I know the birthing process for a basilisk is weird. It's like
It's complicated, yeah.
it's like something on top of a frog egg or a frog
It's
on top of a
a chicken
chicken
egg
Chicken
egg.
egg.
under a toad, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
something
something
about the full
odd.
moon, maybe?
Yeah. But I mean, it's been 1,000 years, so who knows if other heirs of Slytherin. It's not like Tom Riddle was the only heir that has come by. Haven't gone down there and hatched more eggs just to have more basil. I don't know.
Marissa says rating 1. Marissa, out of how many? 10, 5.
I
Let's
mean, it's
see.
still one.
But I can see Dumbledore inviting Newt to come check out the
Yeah,
basilisk. That
I
doesn't
like
seem
that theory.
way too far fetched for me. And then the other one was that he was there to visit Hagrid about the hippogriffs and to try to argue in Buckbeak's defense.
Hmm,
Which I guess
I could
kind
see that.
of fits to. I guess this is going to really depend on the relationship that Hagrid and Newt has. Because I don't know if
Right.
Dumbledore would necessarily call in Newt to work with Hagrid in figuring out the defense for Buckbeak.
Yeah.
Although I feel like if Newt were to walk into the ministry, I feel like he should have that type of clout, almost Dumbledore-esque when he's in the courtroom. To be like, listen, you can't do this under this law and this and this. Because Newt set up a bunch of different laws regarding magical creatures throughout his time, specifically after the whole Grindelwald thing. He worked to help set up different protections for these creatures.
Hmm.
I feel like there are things in place that he could just pull like this. Like, no, you can't do that because of this and this and this. And just stop all this right now.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I like the first theory better. I just don't know how, because we know how socially awkward Newt is. I just don't know how much help he would be to Hagrid in this particular situation. Um, I think Newt probably did have some clout with the ministry back, like during the like after the events of Grindelwald being the big bad guy or whatever. But in Harry's time, I just don't know if he would be held in that same high regard necessarily. And Lucius Malfoy has all the money, so I think that would talk louder at the end of the day. But I mean, I like the idea of him wanting to help out, so it's possible.
Seems like the right person to go to anyway for such a case.
Yeah.
Definitely. Even if it's just to be some moral support for Hagrid. But that would be assuming that he has that relationship with Hagrid, which I would like to think so.
Right. And I think if Hagrid were getting help from Newt, like what is the trio's help going to be for Hagrid? Like what can they possibly come up with? Because I know that was a little bit of a storyline within Prisoner of Azkaban too. And granted, the boys didn't really help out all that much until like the very, very end
Right.
when it was a little bit too late. But I feel like Hagrid would be like, no, I don't need your help. I got Newt on the case. Now, my own personal headcanon with this whole situation with Newt being there was I figured Newt was coming in to ask Dumbledore to write the foreword to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, because that was also around the time where the other edition was coming out. And I believe in that edition, there is a foreword by Albus Dumbledore. So, like, timeline wise, it kind of lines up. So that's what I have always believed about that whole kind of thing that had happened. The fact that Newt was on the map. And again, is it canon? Who's to say? But would definitely love your guys' opinion. If you have another theory that was not of the three that I had just brought up, have you ever thought about it, or was it just one of those things where just like, it's just an Easter egg that they wanted to put Newt's name in there and nothing more, nothing less? I like thinking of reasons why they would choose to put that specific name in the mix here.
I think it's just an Easter egg, personally. Um, and even if it wasn't, I don't think there has to be like a deep meaning behind why he would be there. We know he's friends with Dumbledore, and at this point, he would be like 80 years old. So, like, he just doesn't have anything else going on. He could just pop in to say hi or have some tea or whatever, and that's just the end of it. I don't think there has to be a big story reason for it.
Just visiting an old friend.
Right.
Maybe Dumbledore's trying to recruit him to be next year's Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
Yeah, it probably is just an Easter egg. In fact, it most likely is just an Easter egg. I do like the idea that Dumbledore asked him to come and see the Basilisk corpse, or just simply to investigate the Chamber of Secrets with him and do that. I could see that being something that Dumbledore would do. So I do like that.
I would have really loved if Newt ended up showing up during the Battle of Hogwarts. Maybe like the next day when like Charlie came with Slughorn coming
Mhm.
from, I think it was Hogsmeade, because
Uh,
there was like a whole group of people that had come like bum rushing in the morning. And I just feel like Newt would definitely be on that short list of people who would want to take down Voldemort. Like, he's done it before. He's taken down a very dark wizard in the past. He's threatening Hogwarts. He killed Dumbledore, his friend. I just feel like Newt would have been there. I wish he was like on the list of people to contact to come and fight against Voldemort for the cause, for Hogwarts. Like, I think that would have been just real fun.
I mean, it doesn't say that he wasn't there.
Right.
Maybe Harry would know who he was, so he wouldn't have been able to call out that Newt Scamander was there. He would just been another old man.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably not, because we know that Newt definitely would have brought some kind of big bad beast with him, and Harry
Yeah.
definitely would have mentioned that happening. Um,
There was this
but
creature I've never seen before. It looked like a rhino, but it speared Voldy.
Well, and also, I don't know how he would have found out because he wasn't in the Order of the Phoenix. So I don't know how he would have found out about it because it all happened pretty quick within a few hours.
Yeah,
Everything
but
was
that's
over.
true.
the Voldy takeover has been going on for years. And I just feel like Newt wouldn't sit back and watch that happen. You know, just solely based off of what we know of him in these Fantastic Beasts movies. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like he's gonna be the type of guy that's gonna sit back and let Voldy take over the Wizarding world and the entire world. He just doesn't seem so. I feel like he would want to be at least in the know and make a Nicholas Flamel type of effort to try to get there as an old man to fight.
I could see that when Dumbledore was alive because that would be his like number one contact to know what's going on. I just don't know how he would find out about because it happened in the middle of the night and it happened so fast. So as much as I would love for him to have been there and be able to be a part of it, I just don't know how he would have found out in time to get there. I
feel
could
you.
see him. Sorry.
I have two counter arguments for Joe's argument, and then I have one counter argument for Lauren's argument.
Bring
First
it
of all,
on.
Lauren, you are correct that it all happened very fast. But Charlie, as Joe pointed out earlier, Charlie was able to get there from wherever he was, maybe Romania, maybe not. I don't know. So like someone told him, so someone could have told Newt. I don't know. For Joe, first of all, do we know that he moved back to England or did he stay in America with Tina?
I am of the impression that Tina moved in with him to
Okay.
England.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think in the end of the book where it tells about him, Fantastic Beast, it says that they now live somewhere in England.
Okay. Okay. And the other thing I was going to bring up is he got involved with the Grindelwald thing like before it was a Grindelwald thing, if that makes sense. Like he was, looking for his beasts, and that's when he came into contact with Credence, who he found out was an Obscurus, and that's when they found out that Grindelwald was trying to capture / recruit Credence, and that's when he got involved with Dumbledore to take down Grindelwald. But in this scenario where he has not been really directly involved with the battle against Voldemort, I don't know if he has the same kind of investment in making sure that things, turn out well for everybody. And, he still has that sense of justice, to want things to happen. But like, as far as personal involvement, it's not quite an analogous situation. But yeah, I mean, it would be cool if he was there for sure. And I think just the fact that the Fantastic Beasts series is a prequel just means that those kinds of forethought would not have been put into how she wrote the final battle and that kind of thing.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Well, that was my little addition to this little potpourri pot that we have going on. Any thoughts, any topics that you guys wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I have a shorter one and then a little bit of a longer one. Um, so I can do one first and then let Lauren go if that sounds good.
Sure, let's do it.
Mine are mostly the would you rather things that I've kind of Joe and I both were looking at. So go for it, Alex. Do both of yours.
Okay. So the shorter one is only tangentially related, but I do have a Potter watch. I went to the movie theater to see The Menu last week, which was
Okay.
one of my most anticipated movies for this year, actually.
When did you find out about this movie? Because I only knew about it maybe like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, I've been seeing the trailers for maybe like since summer, maybe like early fall. But it's been on my radar for a while. So it's a movie about this very exclusive restaurant set on a private island. And the head chef is played by Rafe Fiennes, aka Voldemort. And it's just this very strange, unsettling night of fine dining. Um, the main character is Anya Taylor-Joy, who you would know from The Queen's Gambit, is like her like biggest thing so far, probably. But she's been in a lot of other stuff, and she's a really, really great actress. So I really enjoyed seeing her. And then there was a few other notable people. John Leguizamo is in there. Her,
That guy's in everything.
yeah, it kind of feels like that. Her date for the night is the guy who plays Beast from the new X-Men movies.
It's Nicholas Holt.
Yes. And then there was Peter Gross is in it. He's the maitre d'. He's like a comedian. If you remember the old Sonic commercials with the two dudes in the car, he was the one who was always in the driver's seat. And he's a panelist on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, which I'm a really big fan of. So I was just very, it was just so random when he showed up. And he's only in it for a few scenes, but he's really funny. Yeah, so anyway, I don't want to spoil too much of the movie. I enjoyed it. It's a very strange movie. It's definitely like not a parody, but kind of like commentary on like the gourmet cuisine slash foodie movement, if you want to call it that. It has a lot of themes of like criticizing and just kind of looking at that weird section of culture, um, and it goes places that I was not expecting it to, and that's all I want to say about it.
All right,
All right.
then.
All right. Along the lines of that, since we're talking about Potter Watch, I did end up seeing the Banshees of Inisherin the past over the past few days.
Mhm.
And that was the one
Yes.
with Colin Farrell and Mad Eye Moody. What's
Yeah,
his
it's
name?
on HBO Max.
Yeah,
I
it's
need to
now on
check it
HBO
out.
Max. And that is also a very weird movie. So if you're into those like indie style weird movies,
Mhm.
that's definitely one that you're gonna want to check out. And it's kind of comical at times, kind of sad at times, and just overall odd. But uh, Brendan Gleeson, that's the name I'm looking for, does a great job. Also, Colin Farrell does a really, really great job in their characters in this little film. And what's it? I don't know how to say his last name. I think it's Barry Keegan Cogan. He was briefly in the Batman at the very end as I think the Joker, but
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
he was also in the Eternals.
Mhm.
He was the guy with the attitude in the Eternals. I think he was also in Dunkirk, maybe. I think that's the war movie he was in. Um, Anywho, he's also in that. Does a really great job. So yeah, if you're into those types of flicks, definitely go check that one out.
Well, I'll toss on to the Potter Watch. Have y'all seen the latest season of The Crown?
No.
No, but I feel like I know what you're saying.
So the latest season of The Crown, every few seasons they recast the actors because of course they're getting older. Um, and so the queen in The Crown is Umbridge. And it is very difficult to not see her as Umbridge. Like very hard because they look identical. So
Minus
there's
the
a fun one.
pink, right?
Minus the pink, but I mean, same kind of little tweed suits and same hairdo and way of talking. She doesn't do the little annoying cough, of course, but it's very much like it's unnerving because I hate Umbridge so much, and I actually enjoyed like I like watching The Crown, and I enjoy Queen Elizabeth in The Crown, and so getting to this season and seeing her, I'm like, okay, this is hard. This is hard to watch.
Yeah.
But
Fun. All right, Lauren, do you want to take us through?
Sorry, real quick. One more thing I want to say about the menu. Rafe Fiennes gives a very awkward hug at one point in the movie, and I had to try so hard to not bust up laughing in the movie theater.
you're just thinking about that Draco hug.
I was waiting for it. I was hoping so hard that it was going to happen, and then it did.
Fantastic. Lauren, do you want to pull up those would you rathers and go through some of them?
Sure. Let's do a couple of them.
All right, ladies and gents, those of you listening, those of you on the chat with us, watching live, feel free to play along.
All right, so we'll start with a easy one. Would you rather fight with a three-headed dog or a Hungarian horntail?
Definitely the dog.
Yeah, I think the dog would probably be easier to defeat. I mean, especially since we know if you play a little bit of music, it would fall right asleep. Hungarian horntails. Hungarian horntails take a little bit more to try to overcome. So yeah, the three-headed dog might be a little bit easier to handle.
Yeah, I agree. I do think one of the things, because of course, when you're talking about combat and fighting, I automatically go to Dungeons and Dragons and I think about what the challenge rating on each of these creatures would be to fight them. Obviously, the dragon's going to be a higher challenge rating, but that three-headed dog is going to get a lot of attacks on you. It's going to get 3 bites and a claw and maybe even a tail whip or something. And if you don't know that you can put them to sleep, or if this three-headed dog is not fluffy and doesn't go to sleep, that could take you down pretty quick. But I still think I would go with the three-headed dog. I don't want to go against a dragon. That would be bad.
Yeah, I think the fire alone is going to make the three-headed dog the easier choice. And then, the dragon I think has superior mobility with the wings, and it's got a
Mhm.
really long tail that you got to watch out for. I just think overall, not that a three-headed dog wouldn't be scary to fight, because I definitely would be, but I think the horntail is just much more ferocious.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
fire, they can fly.
Well, and the tail has spikes on it. Like it's not just a tail whip around. It's with spikes.
Yeah, you got a little bit more to worry about with the dragon than you would the three-headed dog. And that, again, is not to say that the three-headed dog wouldn't be difficult, because I'm sure it would be if you didn't know the little trick to put it to sleep.
Yeah. All right, let's do another one. Another relatively easy one. Would you rather be an animagus or a metamorphmagus?
And that's so hard. The animagus is such a gamble because you don't know what you're going to be until you finish the process. So what if you get something really lame, like a goldfish or something? Like, what are you supposed to do with that? You just have this power that's like not completely worthless, but like very situational. But like Metamorphomagus, like it would be novel, and like for Tonks, obviously, like it worked out really well. Like she could put it to use for her line of work. but like for me, I would not have as much use for it. So like my gut instinct is definitely animagus, but you could get something that would not be as cool as a dog or a deer or whatever.
I've always loved the Metamorph Maguses. I just think they're fascinating. I feel like we don't get them enough in the series. The fact that we only have one example of one throughout the series is kind of crazy considering how cool of a thing it is.
Yeah.
So I think if I had to choose, I would probably go with that. I don't know how I feel about turning into an animal. Like, y'all know me by now. Not the biggest fans of animals. So I don't know if I'd want to be one myself. Especially with the gamble aspect too of not knowing. Although my spirit animal has to be something cool, so I know it would be, something something cool like a panther or whatnot, or and then I'd be like stuck as like a sloth or something. Can't even explore the sloth. You can explore maybe like the next 10 feet over the course of 3 hours.
Yeah, I wonder if I I lean animagus just simply because I think for stealthy purposes and being sneaky, it's better for that. But at the same time, I do think it is a gamble. So I wonder if you could just like it was a real gamble for the Marauders because they didn't know how to do Patronuses yet. So they wouldn't have even had Patronuses to give them any kind of idea of what they could maybe turn into. So they really gambled. Can you imagine the first time they actually transformed and Peter's like, wait, I got a rat? And everyone else got these cool animals? What's up with that? Although it
He,
also should have been a sign to,
he had its uses.
but so maybe if you wait until you at least can cast a Patronus, if you ever can, and then decide whether or not you want it. Because if your Patronus is a dolphin, then it's a big risk to go through with it. Not that your Patronus and your Animagus are the same, but it would be more of a risk, I think, if you got something on your Patronus that but I like animals, so I'm gonna go Animagus because I just think it's cool.
I don't know if your animagus would be a water animal per se.
I would hope not.
Yeah, just because, like,
It's kind
again,
of useless.
what Alex said, if you turn into a goldfish, if you're out of water, you're gonna die. So do you end up just switching right back right away and be like, oh, guess this was a waste of however many years of my life it took to get this all right at the right time and the right moonlight with the right picked whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah.
All right. So let's do a harder one. Would you rather save Fred or Lupin in the Battle of Hogwarts?
I feel like the Weasleys have too many members of their family for somebody to not have ended up dying in the Battle of Hogwarts.
That's not where I thought you were gonna finish that sentence. Okay.
I mean, I probably still would want to choose Fred, but it just, like, logically speaking, there's so many of them, and it was just such a dangerous, high risk type of event. The fact that every single one of them would have made it through just seems so unlikely. So I kind of feel like it would make sense that Fred would die. Nevertheless, I don't know. I still think I'd go with Fred because I like Fred and George together, and Lupin. He's always had a rough life, um, and now like Tonks would have still died, so I think he would have probably would want to go with her. Like having him still be alive with Tonks dead would just be like more tragedy in his life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have to say Fred as well. Pretty much for the same reasons. It's weird to have just George, not a Fred and George. It just doesn't sound the same. And then also, I hate to say that like Teddy would be better off as an orphan, but like I just don't know how Remus would be as a single father. Not only because of his condition, but like he was so doubtful of how he was going to be going into it,
Yeah.
and just having that kind of outlook on things and dealing with the loss of his wife would just be a lot for anyone to deal with on top of him being a werewolf. So I think Fred would bring more joy to the world than Lupin would, be. Not that he would be a bad father, but he would just. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Not that death is necessarily a better alternative, but I don't know. It's just sad to think about. I guess there's no good answer, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, no, there is no good answer to this one. I feel so bad for Lupin, and you're right. There's so much tragedy in his life. It just stinks that this is the way. Like, I mean, at least he goes out fighting, but he just had his son. His son is literally like 2 days old at this point, like not even a week old at the point of the Battle of Hogwarts. And so the fact that he doesn't even really. James and Lily had more time with Harry than he had with his son. So, and Fred, as much as I love Fred, and as much as it hurts that George would be by himself and that kind of thing, at least the Weasleys, they have a lot of other people to grieve together and to mourn together. So I'm going to go Lupin because Teddy deserves to know his father.
Okay.
I love Fred though. All right. Let's see a more fun one. Okay. Would you rather have a flying car or a flying broomstick?
Question: Does it matter if people can see me flying in the car? Slash, does the car have an invisibility booster?
Let's just say it's the Ford Anglia,
Yeah,
which does have invisibility.
but it's
no air
faulty.
conditioning.
Yeah, no air conditioning in Texas is not a good thing on a car.
I guess I'm gonna say the broomstick, just because it's more versatile. I guess, like the car, you kind of have to like. It's a little bit slower, a little bit harder to maneuver. You got to find a good parking space when you're not flying, that kind of thing. The broomstick, you're just up, you're down, you're wherever you need to go, and it's a lot faster. So even though it will be much more comfortable, which was my main reason for not wanting the broomstick, I think it probably is a better way of getting around.
Yeah, I've always said that the flying car would probably be my transportation of choice, just because of my fear of heights. And as much as I would love to fly on a broomstick, I just feel like I'd have a heart attack as I'm flying. Um, because God forbid I fall off that broomstick, you know, yes, arresto momentum, but at the same time, I don't know if those words would be able to come out of my mouth because I'd be so scared. So the fact that the flying cars do exist in this world, I can be seated and strapped in and not having to be able to look down. I feel like all those factors together help me in um being able to calmly get to my destination. And I agree with Alex in that like the broomstick is more versatile. It's a heck of a lot easier. Just grab it and go, and you can take it with you. And the car, you'd have to find parking and all that stuff. But I don't think I'm brave enough to fly on a broomstick. If I had the bravery, I would definitely choose the broomstick. But if we're trying to kind of ground this in somewhat reality, I'd probably choose the flying car and pray it
Yeah.
doesn't break down midair.
But at least you're strapped in. It's all good.
Right.
I think for me, I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of falling, but I'm not afraid of going up high. I mean, there's that. However, I do feel like there's already if I'm going to have a flying car, we already have airplanes. And so there's already that. So I would go with broomstick. And I think after a few test flights, I would get pretty confident that I wouldn't fall. And I know somewhere I read that there's broomsticks that have like parachutes in them and stuff like that. So in case you fall, there's some safety precaution there. And I think the magic of the broomstick would keep you on the broomstick as much as possible. So yeah, I'm going to go broomstick. All right. Let's do oh, I like this one. Would you rather be a pro at transfiguration or apparition?
Apparition. My commute is awful and I don't want to do it anymore. So if I could leave my house 30 seconds before I need to be at work instead of an hour, that would be wonderful.
This one's tough. I don't know if we have fully understood like transfiguration to its like fullest potential. I don't think we sit in too many of those classes. So I would wonder what advanced transfiguration is. With that said, apparating anywhere at any point and knowing that you're not going to splint yourself seems awesome.
Yes.
And I would very much like to be able to do that. So with that said, I think I would probably choose apparition and just be okay at transfiguration. I think I could settle for being okay at transfiguration. as long as I know I'm not going to splinch myself, no matter where I end up apparating to.
Yeah, I think this one is one we'll all agree on then, because I agree with you, Alex. My commute isn't an hour, but it's not great, and it's all on toll roads. So if I could save some money and not do that commute and be able to just disappear, reappear, that would be awesome. So I'm gonna go with apparition as well. It's just so useful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And not that transfiguration is not useful. It's just
no,
again, like I don't. I feel like we don't really understand fully what it like what a transfiguration master would be like.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but to just be able to go snap, I'm somewhere else, done. That's just
Very
too
convenient.
too good to be true.
That means I could sleep later.
Yes.
All right, Lauren, you got one more for us?
Sure. All right, one more. Let's see. All right, this one's fun. Would you rather be lost in the Triwizard Maze or the Forbidden Forest?
Jeez, it's like same difference, right? You don't know what's coming either way.
I'm gonna make sure we all understand which maze I'm talking about. It's the one from the books, not the one from the movies. So the one that has creatures and enchantments, that kind of thing.
Do I have Barty Jr. moving everything out of the way for me?
No.
um, I think I will say the maze because if you really needed to, you can just climb up on top and then hop over all the hedges to get to the exit.
Okay.
So that's obviously cheating in the context of the tournament, but you know, this is about survival.
This is like if you get lost in the Forbidden Forest, it's like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
You know, you're going around in circles. You think you're going one way, and then all of a sudden you get to the same tree with the same marking.
Uh-huh.
Um, gosh, I'm trying to like figure out in my head which has more dangerous creatures in it, and I feel like they're both about equal. The maze would, I think, be a little bit more fun. And if I do end up like meeting a sphinx, that might be a highlight of my life and trying to figure out that riddle. Although I wouldn't want to fight a sphinx. So
No.
I still think I'd probably choose the maze. Yeah, I think I'm going maze.
Yeah, these are so equal to me. Like, and I do think at least in the maze you would have a better chance of escaping than getting lost in the forest. However, I feel like the forest has more space to hide
Mm.
or to get away from creatures. Like there's more vastness to it, so you're not going to run into a creature every other turn. Like I mean, we don't always run into creatures when we go into the forest in the books. But around the maze, every way Harry turned, there was something else. So I'm gonna go forest. I think I like my chances to be able to run away from creatures better in the forest than I would in the maze.
Can I
Yeah,
can I shoot up red sparks?
I mean, you can, but it'll just attract creatures to you rather than help.
I just think the maze you're gonna get out eventually, one way or the other. You might have to fight through every creature in there, but eventually you're gonna find the way out. But with the forest, you could be lost there forever. So I think the maze for me.
Alrighty, we did have a few questions come in from Dane, so I do want to get to them right now before we move on here. And if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to send those in or comment them in our comment section. First question: how do you think the series changes if Luna is the same age as the trio and shows up in year one?
I mean, Hermione might not have been part of the trio. It might have been Harry, Ron, and Luna.
Oh.
Does that mean Ron and Luna end up together?
Possibly, probably.
Well, to be fair though, too, Luna would probably still be in Ravenclaw, so it might be difficult for those friendships to form.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but I don't know. It If things had gone a little bit differently, Hermione never would have been part of the crew. Um,
This is true. That whole
sh-
troll scenario like really saved their friendship.
Hmm.
Definitely. Um, so I think if Luna had been an alternative, third slash token female for their friend group, I don't know if there's room there for Hermione because we like Luna. We as the readers like Luna because she's not there. Like she's not overdone, but like her personality would probably get irritating for some people after a while. And I think Hermione definitely would be one of those people who can only take Luna in like kind of small doses.
Yeah.
Um so if it comes down to are they going to choose Hermione over Luna? Yeah, they have the whole Gryffindor thing with Hermione, but I think Luna might just be a little bit more fun to be around, especially in that first book.
I would have loved to have heard Luna's thoughts on the Chamber of Secrets and some of her theories. I think that would be very interesting. And how she'd go about trying to, I guess, figure it out. Like Hermione took initiative, and obviously we know she had figured it out at the time that she had gotten petrified. I don't know if Luna would have been able to do that. I mean, she is in Ravenclaw, so possibly. I don't know if we see Luna's smarts put on display enough
Mhm.
in this
Yeah.
series.
No, because she's usually just spouting off something that's ridiculous or
Right.
controversial or conspiracy. She's usually talking about things that are obviously not true or hard to prove, stay in that gray area. We don't necessarily see her show off her intelligence as much.
Well, let me ask you this too. If Luna's there the whole time, would that push Ginny out?
That was kind of where I was going. I think that if Luna had not been in the same year as Jenny, if Luna had not been younger, I don't know that Luna would have been in the story at all because we don't see Harry and Ron, Hermione talking to members of the other houses very much, at least until they're in the 5th year when they do Dumbledore's army. They don't necessarily mingle as much with other houses. And so it wouldn't necessarily, I don't know that Luna would be part of their friend group, but I definitely don't think that Jenny and her would be friends because they had classes together. So I think it would have made it very different between Jenny and Luna's relationship.
I don't even know how much relationship they really had prior to her taking on a big role in the Order of the Phoenix book.
Right.
It doesn't we're not told that like that's the first time they spend a lot of time together, but it doesn't really make it seem like they were anything more than like acquaintances, really.
No, Luna doesn't really have any friends until Dumbledore's army, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she's not very good at making friends. That's not her strength. We love her, but as far as the students at Hogwarts go, they just think of her as like this oddball that keeps spouting off these ridiculous theories that are clearly not true.
hmm
You know, we love her, but at the same time, if she was a real life character in our life, we may not like her in real life.
Right.
Which is an interesting, I guess, dynamic to kind of think about. Like knowing that she's not necessarily real, we like her. But if that person existed in our life, we may not like her. I know, because to me, like she's a very likable character. I mean, obviously, she's beloved by more or less the entire fandom. So for me, like I could see Harry and Ron ending up becoming friends with her in some weird way.
Mhm.
And I always thought in the books, Luna had a crush on Ron early on.
hmm
Yeah, a little bit.
So that would have been interesting to see from like the beginning. And then who knows how that plays with Hermione being involved in the whole formation of the friendship and whatnot. So yeah, that was our 5-minute canon confundus on what if Luna. Oh, what house did you want to see more from in the series?
Gryffindor.
Liar.
I mean, I think Hufflepuff is the obvious answer. They're just and the rest, right? And so we don't get to know too much about them. It's the only house that we never get to go to their common room in the main story, which always bothered me. Um, but I think when Josh was first reading the story, he had this running joke about Ravenclaw doesn't exist, and obviously it was annoying because they obviously do exist. But like he's not completely wrong. Like
No.
they're more underrepresented in the story than you kind of realize once you're fully invested into it. So there's a case to be made for Ravenclaw too.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was leaning. I was kind of going more towards Ravenclaw because I don't know. I just feel like we don't get a lot of their members as a part of the story,
Well,
like a real part of the story. Like we get Cho, of course, but like most people find that part of the story annoying. And then we get Luna, whom we all love,
Uh,
but she's not really in it and involved until year 5, when more than half the story's done with. So you could say Ravenclaw, and like in my opinion, you could also make a case for Slytherin, because we really only see the same Slytherin kids. We don't really get a lot of anybody else in Slytherin, and it would have been nice to maybe get a positive or nice kid from Slytherin involved in the story in some capacity,
yeah.
because I'm sure they have to exist. I know that, like, I know, I guess the
Well, they
imagery that they were trying to show based on like how the story's written, and um the bias and the prejudice that is involved with the houses and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but like kids that age are so impressionable that like if you're just seeing it day in and day out for 7 years, I think it's kind of unavoidable that you're gonna turn out that way, no matter how good of a person you are going into it. And if you're that good in the first place, you're probably not gonna end up in Slytherin.
Yeah. But they are always one of the houses that are in the lead for the House Cup, usually on a yearly basis. So they do have members that earn points and that do that kind of thing. So
Do
I
they, or is it just Snape giving them points that they don't deserve?
that's fair. That's fair.
Are you calling Snape a cheater?
That is fair. I think I was leaning more Ravenclaw because even Hufflepuff, like we have classes with the Hufflepuffs in Harry's year. Like we have our herbology classes with them. They talk to each other in the hallway all the time. Ernie Mac is throughout the story somewhat annoying at times. We have a lot of them in Dumbledore's army. We don't see a lot of like they never have a class with the Ravenclaw kids. Like ever. I don't know if for scheduling purposes they just never end up in the same class, but we never like they do potions with Slytherin, they do herbology with Hufflepuff, they do care of magical creatures with Slytherin. They have transfiguration by themselves. They never have anything with Ravenclaw kids.
That's
So like
because
we don't get to know
They probably
those
did
kids
astronomy
really
with
at
them,
all,
and we just never saw the astronomy class.
except for Cho and Luna.
I think the Ravenclaws were in pre-AP and everyone else was in the regular classes. So they just never got to intermingle.
I don't buy it because Hermione would have been in pre-AP.
Touche.
That's funny. All the Ravenclaws in advanced classes. That's why they're never in with any of the kids that we know.
With the dum-dums.
All right, very good, Dane. Thank you for sending those in. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your comments. It was a lot of fun to kind of just jump around there to different topics and whatnot. As far as next week is concerned, it will be again the new year, the first episode of the year, and we're going to start off with a canon confundus for everyone. And next week we're going to do what if the Potters had accepted Voldemort's offer to join him? We know that Voldemort went to the Potters to come be a part of the Death Eater crew, and obviously they said no multiple times. But what if they said yes? How would that have changed the story? Obviously, there's no Voldy versus Harry. But then who? Does that mean Neville is the chosen one? Dun, 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 dun. Find out our thoughts next week and share your own thoughts. If you have anything to share on this, you can send that on over to talesfromgodric's at gmail.com. Now we have our segments coming up right after a word about Patreon. If you like what we do here, you can get exclusive content from us by supporting us on Patreon. For more magic, go to patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. Now, back to the show. And the first segment that's up on the docket here, you know it, you love it, the Brew Review.
There will be no foolish wand-waving or silly incantations in this class.
And on today's Brew Review, we are talking about the Strength Potion, which very well could be the strengthening solution. There is rumor, there is innuendo that it could very well be the same. Now, the effect is basically the same too. It's a potion that gave the drinker superhuman strength. This potion is orange in color, which is different than the strengthening solution, which was teal, I believe. And here's a little fun thing with the known ingredients to this potion. So we got fanged geranium, an arm bone, and a snake fang. That are the only known ingredients. I'm sure there are more to this potion, but an arm bone. Where do you get an arm bone? From who do you get an arm bone?
Yeah, what kind of arm bone?
You get them from the dancing skeletons in the Lego Harry Potter games. So this is a potion I am very familiar with because I've played through Lego Harry Potter multiple times, and that's where you get them from. You make the skeletons dance, and then they give you an arm bone.
Did Lockhart use Harry's for a potion?
You could have.
Just take an arm bone. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't.
Accio arm bone?
It doesn't
Rip
say it
it
has to be a human arm bone. It just says arm bone.
So if you use, say, a giant's arm bone, does that mean it's like super duper human strength?
Obviously.
And then, like, if you use arm bone of a bowtruckle, then maybe like not much strength.
Well, I don't think they have bones, but
They might.
yeah,
They are-
they might.
They
But
are
I don't
creatures.
think they do.
Alrighty. Now, this potion is taught to first year students at Hogwarts. And again, it's most likely another name for the strengthening solution. I did re-look up the strengthening solution, and the color is different and the ingredients are different, but the effect is basically the same. So they do think that they just changed the name of the strengthening solution to the strength potion.
Makes sense.
Yep. And Lauren is correct. This is found in the Lego Harry Potter games, and a popular potion at that. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely a potion that I would try. I don't know if I'd keep it readily available, but I would like to know how to do this in case I needed to, have super strength. I feel like having super strength would be something very neat to experience at least once in your life. But you may need that super strength for some particular reason. And it would be good to have this potion available.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In case you needed to join some kind of arm wrestling competition. You know, you take a little bit of strength potion and bada bing, bada boom. Gold.
You go over the top.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's just about it for this. A little short and sweet here on the brew review today, considering it's basically a duplicate of one that we've already covered. But next week, we have another very good / popular one, kind of. And we're going to be covering the Wolfsbane potion. Kind of a big deal. Lupin loves this potion. And we'll get into more details about it next week. But up next, we have another edition of Spelio Revelio.
All right. This week on Spelio Revelio, we have Orbis,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. I kind of like it. It's a jinx that is used to suck the target into the ground.
This was not something that I was expecting to read when I came
No.
across this spell and was doing my research on it.
It doesn't sound like, for example, the Latin orbis is for circle or orb. So what I would picture is some kind of orb that gets created, or I don't know. This doesn't match necessarily the name.
Well, it does
So-
say that it encases the target in an orb, but then drags them into the earth.
Yeah. So it is kind of the counter spell to the levitation spell. Like, it does say it's used on targets that are levitating to pull them to the ground. However, my question is, what if you used it on a target that wasn't levitating? Would they be just crushed to the ground? Like, what would happen if you're already on the ground?
I don't think you can use it because what I had read was it can only be used if an ally was levitating the target while the spell was being cast. So this makes me think it's like the only tag team jinx we ever come across so far. Like, this is a tag team slam jam of a spell where your one partner levitates and then the other person, boom,
Pulls
right
them
into the
down.
ground.
A wombo
Yeah.
combo of spells.
I love this for me and my wrestling career. If there was Wizarding Pro Wrestling, this feels like a finisher.
It does. Yeah, definitely. And it makes sense. It does appear in the Goblet of Fire video game. So it would make sense that that would be like a combo that you would do if your ally levitates and you use Orbis to bring the target down and crush them to the ground. I just also wonder, like, if you did use it on something that wasn't being levitated, what would happen? Because to me, it feels like it would still slam me to the ground, just not necessarily as hard.
I just feel like it wouldn't work.
It just would be a waste of a spell.
More or less. It'd be like you doing nothing. As if you didn't swish and flick properly.
It seems useful in combat if you are in a combat situation and you have a friend that is also in that combat with you and using it in conjunction. Otherwise, it seems pretty useless
Yeah, but you have to have
for
a
any other
signal.
reason.
You have to like know that you're gonna do that together. You have to have either talked it out before or have some kind of hand signals or
Plan.
something, yeah.
A little bit of synergy with your partner where you know
Mhm.
each other. Perhaps you're both legilimens and you could read each other's minds and be like, go now.
Now's the time.
But this isn't necessarily a spell that you can only use against people. Like, I can see this being used in horticulture. If you levitate seeds up in the air and then Orbis brings the seeds into the ground. And like, I think Sprout might know this spell like the back of her hand.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
couldn't you just magically dig a little hole and then put it in
Yeah.
the hole? Wouldn't that be the same, just as easy? You don't need two people.
Maybe, but Sprout is the head of the Hufflepuff house where they take the rest, meaning that she likes working with others. So, ipso facto, she would always have someone around
Okay.
and she'd always want to train them up.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't buy that. I think unless you're in combat with an ally, this seems pretty useless.
maybe
Other
at
than the one situation it's used for.
a wizarding cemetery.
Slam the coffin into the ground.
Why wouldn't you just gently levitate? Like,
I'm just throwing stuff up against the wall.
because this feels not gentle. This feels abrupt and like
Forceful.
rather than just not levitating, like rather than just letting your spell go for Wingardium Leviosa and letting them float down, this is forceful. So I don't see where else you would use it unless you were trying to harm something or someone.
So here's a little note on this spell that I pulled out that I just wanted to bring up here. It described this spell as a type of earth magic.
Yes.
So I would like to know what exactly constitutes earth magic. What are the other types of magic? Is this like a Captain Planet type of thing? Like earth, wind, water, hearts? Like, are they all different types of magic? Heart magic, is that love? That what Dumbledore is always talking about?
Strongest of all magic.
I mean, maybe there's specific. I mean, we know there's aguamenti, so that would be probably a type of water magic,
Fire was the
right?
one I missed. We know there's a couple of different fire spells.
Yeah, there's a couple different fire spells. There's Wingardium Leviosa. Would that be wind or air? Because you're lifting them
Arresto,
up.
Arresto
Arresto
momentum.
momentum. So it kind of makes sense that like
But is
some
that
of these
how the
spells
wizarding
are.
world breaks it up? Earth magic, wind magic. Like I've never heard the term earth magic before. So it was just interesting to come across that note when reading on this spell.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do that. I mean, we obviously don't have any evidence that that's how they organize their spells, but it wouldn't be surprising if that was a category.
All
Yeah.
right.
I don't know. I mean, there's also dark magic. We didn't mention that. That's definitely a separate category. And there's no dark ring in Captain Planet that I'm aware of. So
Well, I believe dark magic is pollution. if we're speaking in terms of Captain Planet.
Or yeah,
How did we get on Captain Planet? Oh boy.
he's a hero.
That's right. Take pollution down to 0.
All right. Sure.
Lauren, have you ever seen Captain Planet? Do you have any idea?
Nope. Nope. I'm
Oh
just
my god.
like
I got the theme song stuck in my head. Dun, 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 dun.
all right. Sounds awesome. Next week on Spellio Revelio, this will be fun. We are going to be talking about
Oh, don't lie to them.
usual library book spells. What are those? We don't know. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest with you all, we have no idea what this is. It was on the list and therefore was on our list to cover. And we finally come up to it. So like we don't know what this is going to be. It will probably be something very short. But alas, we've been surprised before. So maybe there is something to this usual library books
Yep.
spell.
We will find out.
What a way to
Next
start the year. That's what I say.
I just can't wait for the unusual library book spell.
That'll be in 2 weeks. Or is that the counter spell to the usual library book spell?
Ooh.
We'll hopefully soon find out. Anywho, we do not have any truth or lies this week. Therefore, we are jumping right into our emails. Alex, Lauren, are you ready for the
Hit
live
me.
audience?
Yes.
Let's do this thing. Oh, I wish Marissa was still on to dance with us. That was her favorite part.
Yeah.
It was always her favorite. And she'll never do it again. Oh.
Oh.
No, she'll be back on in future episodes.
Yeah.
Anywho, we only have one email coming in, and that was from Dane. So Dane writes, howdy y'all, notes from last episode, which he really means 2 episodes ago, about Hogwarts Legacy. This is the first game I've been aware of that has such different release dates across platforms. Yep, go figure. The one game that all of us are into because it's a part of the fandom that we all love.
Yep.
And that's the odd one.
I will say, I forgot to mention this earlier when we were talking about it, but I was talking to my husband about it, and he said that the reason they're probably doing it is for graphics and to make sure that the next gen console graphics are next gen console graphics, because apparently another game that recently came out, they did release to everything at once, next gen and last gen, and the graphics were not as good as they could have been. So,
Alrighty. I mean, I guess time will tell. Also, I'd be surprised if the story plays out all that different by your choices. Very few RPGs do that part of the game well, and I don't know if I trust these developers to make a high-quality RPG game. My counter to you, Dane, would be, well, they've taken long enough, so they got to be working on something. Been like 2 years past what it was should have been out. So maybe they spent an extra long amount of time developing that story. I know what you're saying. Don't get your hopes up. I want to get my hopes up. Sorry for being optimistic. Not sorry. Typically, it's minor deviations on who ends up on your side or against you, basically making the final boss stronger or weaker as a result. But the major plot points hit the same. Well, again, if you're using Avada Kedavra to kill other students, it might change the game play a little bit story wise. Why doesn't the larger school know this year? To Lauren's point, the previous 2 years, naturally, the whole school knows. He's talking about nobody knowing in Prisoner of Azkaban what exactly happened, when in the previous 2 years, everybody knew exactly what had happened
Right.
when it was still a secret. And then this year, mysteriously, nobody knows what happens. There's a point to that, but at the same time, there were a lot less witnesses to what had happened this year.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot less to gossip about. Thoughts on this week? Holiday Potpourri. First, I got through the Funko Advent calendar from the giveaway. There was weirdly only one Ron. I got 2 Lockharts, Rita Skeeter, and Errol before getting Ron on the second to last day. It was very surprising it took so long to get a single Ron figure.
Hmm.
Well, I hope it was a good Ron figure, because your waiting paid off. Dan asks, your favorite Christmas or holiday tradition?
So when we go to my family's house, my favorite tradition for my family is that every year after Christmas Eve service, we come back and we have tamales for dinner. And then we open pajamas and an ornament. Everyone gets 2 gifts. Everyone gets pajamas. Everyone gets an ornament. And I just like that we get to get some new PJs. This year we all matched, including the 4 dogs that were in the house, which was really fun. So
Sounds like a
check
nightmare.
out my pictures on Facebook. We're super adorable.
For
That's my
me,
favorite tradition.
oh sorry. For me, we watch the movie White Christmas every year. If you read my top 100 movies of all time list, this movie came in at number 2, specifically for this reason, because it is such a big thing that I look forward to every year. Just all of us getting together, popping popcorn, snuggling up under the blankets, and we watch this movie that I really love. I find genuinely hilarious every year I watch it, no matter how many times I've seen it. And it's just always a really good time. So that's my answer.
A great movie.
Yeah.
I can't really say that there's like one thing that we do every single year, but I think just the fact that everyone comes over our place for Christmas Eve, because that's when we normally do our Christmas celebrating, is on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day is very much so just a relaxed, chill day of basically doing nothing. Um, so just celebrating on Christmas Eve and having all the family there and all the kids there, even as chaotic as it possibly can be at times, uh, still my most favorite thing. And letting the kids open up all their gifts that we got them on Christmas Eve night, because they're always excited. Although I had to be the uncle that got all the boring gifts this year, because my brother stated that I should just get them clothes this year. So I tried to make up for the fact that it was mostly clothes by wrapping their presents really nicely. with like big bows and like I gave them each
Aw.
like a box, like they each had a box that they got to open that had like all their stuff in it. And
Mhm.
I wrapped it real nice and I put these really large bows on it. And
That's very
yeah,
thoughtful of you. I will
I-
say, for the last few years, when people ask us what the kids need, the answer is just clothes because they grow out of what they have, and clothes are expensive. So if people want to give us that, that's great. And then they never do. I mean, they got some stuff, some clothes this year, but we just got a bunch of toys. And at the end of the day, it's plastic crap that we have to make room for in our house. And it's that they have so many toys. So PSA,
and the,
do not buy children more toys because I promise you they have enough. They don't need more. Just give the parents gift cards or buy clothes.
and that's exactly what my brother said. Like I mean I've seen it too. They just have so much stuff. Like what more can you possibly get these kids? I have no idea. So I was asking them for ideas, and they're like, please just get clothes. But then I'm the guy that gets the clothes, and they're like, yay. I remember getting clothes when I was younger and I hated it. Like
I
now I
know.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now I like it. But being the kid opening up the sweater was just like, meh. I wanted something cool. So I don't know. There's balance to be had, I guess.
Yeah.
But I yeah, not the favorite this year. Nope. But that's
Aw.
okay. That's okay. I still jousted them with their inflatable American Gladiator jousts and just smashed them in the head. No mercy. Anywho, college football playoff predictions. I think this is really only for Lauren because I mean I know nothing of college football. I filled out my bracket, so I don't even remember who I picked.
Me neither.
I don't even. Are they have the game started? Did
Oh yeah. No.
okay?
Yeah.
I have to sign back in and see how I'm doing so far.
Yeah. Maybe next week we can do an update cuz they'll be pretty much all over next week and we can say who won.
Sure. Well, we'll tie it into the fantasy football
Yeah.
results.
I've been doing very poorly. So
There you go.
just just so everyone knows.
Who do you think wins the whole thing, Lauren?
Georgia.
Yeah, I mean they are the best team this year. That's the most likely outcome.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Favorite Christmas gift you've given or
Wait,
received?
oh wait, was he asking for Lauren's predictions, or he had some?
No, he was asking for ours.
Okay, okay. I
Oh.
have none because I have no
Yeah,
idea what's going on.
right. Yeah, established.
Okay.
It'll be Georgia and Michigan and Georgia will win.
Mm.
Favorite Christmas gift you've given and received?
Mm.
Favorite gift I've given was the Red Ryder BB gun from A Christmas Story to my brother, who absolutely loves that movie. And I wrapped it the exact same way that it's wrapped in the movie.
Mhm.
And by some strike of pure, I don't know, divine appointment, um, he opened the gift at the exact same time Ralphie was opening the gift in the movie when it was playing through,
Uh-huh.
and I hid the gift behind the Christmas tree where he couldn't see it. So like when the father tells Ralphie, "Is there something behind there?" I turn to my brother and be like, I think there's something behind the tree. So you see like my brother creeping over to the tree and Ralphie creeping over to like behind, like everything's happening at the exact same time. And it was like the most hilarious thing. He pulls out the present. It's wrapped in a red wrapping paper with a green bow. And Ralphie has same thing, red wrapping, green bow, long thing. Like it was so funny. And
That's awesome.
probably the best gift I have given.
Did you watch the new movie?
It's on my to-do list. I have not watched it, but my brother has, and he really enjoyed it. He was very nervous that it would be complete trash, and it wasn't complete trash.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, as far as gift I've received, I that one's tougher for me because I don't really get gifts, as I've explained before. It would probably have to be something from when I was younger. So it would have to be, I'm guessing, something wrestling related. Probably, I remember one year when I was very young, and the wrestling action figures were super popular. There were this company called LJN who created, they were about 8-inch rubber figures. They were like the craze back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember one Christmas getting about 30 of them with my brother. And I think it was like we hit the freaking jackpot. So that was a big Christmas memory that I have. But I can't think of anything recent that I've gotten that has completely floored me per se. So yeah.
So I think the best gift that I've given, when my husband and I got married, the only thing he asked for to be at the wedding was a sign, a very particular sign that, the saying that's laugh, live, love, laugh, dance, whatever, and it's like dance as if no one's watching, live as though there's no tomorrow, love as though you never get hurt, blah, 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 like all of those.
Uh-huh.
He wanted that, but then at the end, he wanted it to say, and above all, run the ball and play defense. He just wanted that to be the tagline at the bottom of the sign. And I forgot about it, and I did not have that sign at our wedding. And I was told that when he went there, because he beat me to the venue, that he was like walking around looking for where the sign was and was a little disappointed that the sign did not exist. So a couple years ago, I went with some friends from work to one of those places where you paint your own stuff.
Uh-huh.
And you could do something that they had designed for you, or you could send in your own design ahead of times. And so I did that. I sent my own design to them and I said, I would like to have this quote on a wooden board. I want it to be nice and big. And this is what I want. And it cost a lot of money and it took like 3 hours to do the whole thing. But when he opened it up, it just like he was like, oh my gosh, it's the sign. And so that was definitely my favorite gift I've ever given. It was about 6 years late, but he got it eventually. And then my favorite gift I've received specifically for Christmas is hard because my birthday and Christmas are so close together that sometimes I get things kind of in between, or
Like dual gift.
yeah, I'll get dual gifts, and so I'll get them in November, but I'll be told this is birthday and Christmas, because they're expensive gifts. So I can't remember when I received this gift, but in college, my now husband, then boyfriend, gave me a picture frame. It was very simple. It's just a picture frame, and he has all these quotes on it that basically said, if I never knew you, I wouldn't have done this, this, this. And it's like 40 different things that we enjoyed doing together or memories that we had from our time dating that he just listed out, got a pretty frame, and it now just sits on my nightstand. So I see it every day, and I've had it for, 10, 13, 14 years. So, yeah. Simple and thoughtful.
Sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a present that I really enjoyed giving someone. I don't know. I think I got my brother a Nerf gun one time, and he like lost his mind. He was probably like 6 or something, so it wasn't hard to please him back then. But I don't know. I'm sure that there's a better one, but I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. My favorite gift that I've ever received. Do I have it? Oh, it's in my closet. It was a very late Christmas present, but when I was in college, a bunch of my friends pitched together to get me a replica of the Red Lantern power battery from the DC comics. And it's like, if you read Green Lantern, I mean, they're pretty hefty like things, and it's like full metal, and it comes with a little ring, and it lights up and everything. Um and it was like $200, and they just got a bunch of people to just chip in, 10, $15 or whatever. And they wrote me a little letter, and they got that for me.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have a place to put it in the new house just yet. We are still working on getting some cabinetry to put in our living room, because I don't have any of my books or display things out yet. But when I do, it will go up there somewhere.
So it's not on the nightstand right next to your bed.
No, it's not.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah,
Well, you
one day.
can't have everything.
No. One day I hope to collect all of the lanterns and just have them all lined up on a shelf. That would be really cool. But as I said, they are a little bit pricey. They're not like outrageous. $200 for a collectible of that size and quality is really not that bad. But there's like 8 of them, so
Right. The lanterns, kids' college fund. uh, all right, moving along here. Potion, strength potion. Snape, where are you getting arm bones from? Does Madame Pomfrey have your hookup? What happens to a potion if you use something transfigured into something else? Like if you use transfigured boomslang skin instead of actual boomslang skin? That's a good question. What what is the
Ooh.
strength potion? Was made from the bone that Mr. Crouch was turned into?
Uh,
I have no idea.
mm-mm.
I would think it should work the same.
I mean, it
Yeah.
just says arm bone, so as long as it's an arm bone.
But even if like if you use the transfigured boomslang skin, like if you transfigured a pen into boomslang skin and use that for your potion instead of like real boomslang skin, I would think it would still work. Like I guess it depends on if like the properties of said thing were identical down to like the DNA of a thing or
The molecular structure of
Right,
that
yes.
thing.
and that's way over our heads as far as this show is concerned.
It's like way here.
Yeah. It's a very metaphysical question, and I did not get a good grade in metaphysics, so asking the wrong person here.
And I'm just not that smart. to even think of like what an answer could possibly be for that. So good question though. I appreciate it. Spell Orbis. This spell sounds visually awesome. You levitate someone, encase them in a blue orb, and then suck them into the ground. This would basically end a duel, right? Because if you are buried, you can't move your wand to do any sort of magic. More or less, yeah.
I mean, if you break all the bones in your body, you can't move. So, yeah.
Well, if you do this to plant them into the ground, and then you do that credence spell that like lifted all the earth up and like threw it at someone, and he was in the midst of all that, but end up just like throwing the guy into the wall. Like, I think that would successfully end the duel for sure. Cheer up, dude. It's Christmas. Dane. Well, thank you, Dane. And thank you, everyone, for tuning into this
Dane.
episode. Hopefully, you enjoyed today's episode. And that is it. Another year in the books. 2022 is finished. Wowzers. We did it. And next year starts a whole brand new slate of Tales from Godric's Hollow programming. Well, there you go. Again, thank you. If you like this episode, if you like what we do here, please rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify. Give us 5 stars. Leave a review. Let us know how we're doing. We very much appreciate it, and it helps the show out a lot. So thank you in advance for doing that. And with that, Lauren, would you like to tell the people where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mave_cleric, and then on Instagram at Lauren Aragon 12.
All right, very good. Alex, how about you? Where can the people find you?
You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Atari Alex. I've been using Instagram stories more, posting lots of pictures of my kids doing cute things with their Christmas presents. So if that interests you, check it out.
There you go. As for me, you can find me personally on Instagram or the Twitter at Custom Vinyl Lush. If you'd like to follow the show, you can do so by going to talesfromgodricshollow.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can follow us on Twitter at Tales from GH. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can follow us on Podchaser at podchaser.com/TFGH. And as always, with any and all of your emails, you can send them on over to talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com. As for next week, it's the first episode of the brand new year, and we're opening up with a canon confundus, talking about what if the Potters had accepted Voldemort's offer to join him. We'll also be talking about the Wolfsbane potion in the brew review. We'll be covering the usual library book spell in Spellio Rebellio. And don't forget to send in any truth or lies questions you may have. As always, we hope you all find some magic in the week and year ahead. And until next time, we're sorry or you're welcome. So long, everybody.